Welcome back to LePodcast, episode 72. I'm your host, Sainey, alongside Hoopology and ZZ Huncho, and we got my main man, my brother, Zach Schwartz from Out of Pocket and Buckets and Wave TV. We've had him on in an episode previous, and this is the second time here. We love having him on. Zach, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. It's always good to be back. You guys are crushing it. So it's fun to be back and obviously hang with you guys. Sainey has to listen to my shitty messages all the time. I send him a lot of rude things in the DMs, and now I have him and his phone number, and it's just saved as Russell Westbrook's bodyguard. So first name Sainey, and then last name Westbrook bodyguard. So there you go.
Yeah, just some reference for the viewers. Me and Zach, I think, have gone back and forth for the last year and a half. ever since Russ has been on the Lakers, and it's just been a shit show, to say the least, in terms of what we have to say to each other. But obviously, it's all love. I love this guy.
100%.
I love that you're back on the pod.
Yep.
A big topic right now, obviously, the Lakers and the Warriors series, and Zach's a huge Lakers guy, so obviously we wanted him on for this episode, and I'm going to kick things off straight away. I want this conversation to get started. So let's just address the elephant in the room. How scared should the Lakers be of a Warriors comeback?
That's a great question. I mean, I think, when the Lakers took the 3-1 lead, we did a podcast, I work on a show called Out of Pocket, and we did a podcast where I asked one of our co-hosts, who's a big LeBron fan and a bigger Warriors hater, are you happy about the 3-1 lead or more scared that LeBron would blow it? And he's like, I'm fucking terrified. I think if they lose this game in LA, they're too young and there are too many guys that will be too scared going into that Warriors, going back to Chase Center, having to play serious minutes in a very hostile place in a Game 7. I think that if they lose Game 6, you could just go ahead and pencil the Warriors into the Western Conference Finals. I think it is a done deal. I also think there isn't any shame in it. Let's be honest with ourselves. The Warriors did not have Kevon Looney in Kevon Looney form for the first 3/4 of this series. So if they did come back, it's not as shameful as blowing a 3-1 lead in the finals. See how I'm posturing already? You see how I'm doing that? I'm getting out. That's getting out ahead of the narrative. That's the goal here.
I find it fascinating how your LeBron superfan friend was terrified of the 3-1 lead. This is my inner old head. Are Jordan fans scared of Jordan having a 3-1 lead? Am I going to start to push this narrative? Because I am completely undecided on the GOAT debate. But that was just unsettling.
I don't think it is, though, because I mean, not to be a LeBron
we're not starting a GOAT debate.
Let's be honest,
we're not.
Year 20, he's in year 20, and
LeBron's better.
Year 20, and that's when you want to bring up, he blew a 3-1 lead. Let's be real here, all right? What was 100%. Jordan doing in year 20? If we're being, I'm not decided on the GOAT debate either. I'm with you. But, can we really bring that up as an argument? I think the only way you could compare LeBron and Jordan is if you take, the amount of years they played, or amount of years Jordan played, and then compare LeBron to that 13 team.
Yeah.
After that, it's just a cherry on top for LeBron.
Yeah, but regardless of that topic, the Lakers should be scared because of Anthony Davis and not because of the Warriors whatsoever, because there's no one, I don't care if it's Looney, I don't care if they bring back prime Andrew Bogut, JaVale McGee, there's no one on planet Earth who can guard that man fully healthy. And I don't know if he's cleared from the concussion protocols that he was in, but they need him to win because LeBron James is no longer in that form where he could drive down to the lane and collapse the defense every single time. You see him spotting up and conserving energy until those late moments in the fourth quarter. There was a game, did he not take a shot in the first quarter? I'm pretty sure that was a stat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it rests on Anthony Davis and Anthony Davis alone, in my opinion.
I agree 100% on the AD is the X factor part, and I want to hint to what Hoop was alluding to about LeBron James. Do y'all realize that they're running LeBron right now, and by they I mean Darvin Ham. I was talking to my boy about this last night watching the game. I was like, man, if AD don't come back, they ain't gonna be no 2018 Bron. They running Bron like 2014 Tim Duncan right now. They got him on them 38-year-old minutes, but Darvin Ham sitting there looking and thinking, if it's 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, Warriors up 15, do I really want LeBron James in the game, or do I want to conserve that energy for Game 6 and get him fresh in the Crypto Center? I was about to say Staples, rest in peace, but whatever. In the Crypto Center, or the Crypt, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But I said to Hoop before, the X factor in this series has got to be Anthony Davis. He's got to be healthy, and not only does he have to be healthy, he has to be playing like prime Anthony Davis can play, as in, bullying guys to the rim. Draymond Green is too small to guard Anthony Davis, but he can contain him because he's Draymond Green. He can go body to body. Kevon Looney is too slow to guard Anthony Davis, but he can contain him by keeping them big-ass arms up in the air. But it's all you can hope to do with Anthony Davis is contain him and hope that Anthony Davis decides to try and play like Kevin Durant that night by shooting shots from 25 feet from the basket. But the X factor in this series alone is not only Anthony Davis, but it's his health. Because if AD and I think AD's playing in Game 6, but if AD wasn't playing in Game 6, oh my God, that means that you're asking LeBron James a lot. You're asking probably for another Lonnie Walker fourth quarter performance, except you're going to need it in the other three quarters as well. So the Lakers, like Zach said, the experience factor. If they don't win this Game 6 and they have to go home to a Game 7, that's going to be a crazy ass crowd to deal with. I know Bron can weather the storm. We've seen Bron do his thing before. AD, I feel like if he's there, he's going to do something, obviously. But I'm questioning Reeves and Lonnie Walker and it was Troy Brown. D'Angelo Russell has been getting clamped up since that video was posted of him going to that kid's school in the morning before Game 4. I think he shot 1 for 10 in that game. Jesus. But yeah, there's a lot of red flags here. That script is looking mighty nice. Not gonna lie. Shout out to that corgi.
Fuck that dog. I think that it was a very smart move getting GP2 in the game, because he plays the style of defense that I think is really hard for GP2 plays a style of defense that's really hard for D-Lo to kind of deal with. It's that suffocating. He's going to basically try and ball deny, or if you do get the ball, he's right there. And D-Lo sort of needs the space to kind of be able to read what's in front of him. So I don't necessarily fault D-Lo, but this is a red flag that he has not been good since they decided to make that switch. I mean, 15 last night, which is nice, but not, when he's over 15, they haven't lost yet in the playoffs. I think the big issue is that, I'll say this. I am nervous. If the Lakers blow this game, I'm terrified. I will say the Warriors looked and shot so fucking poorly at Crypto Arena, or, I still call it Staples Center too, and I live here. They shot so poorly there that I'm a big believer in certain gyms are just harder to shoot in, or guys can be comfortable in one gym and not comfortable in another.
Yeah.
And I just think, I don't know. I just am kind of blown away that they were as good as they were last night. They weren't hitting a ton of threes, but I'm okay. Draymond is very confident right now in his shot. Let him have that. Come on down to Los Angeles. He with us all-star last, the game before that. And you know what? He's going to trick off and shoot some shitty jump shots in this Game 6, and I'll sleep easy with that. Come back down here. He's going to toss us some bricks. We'll be all right. So I think they dodged one that AD's going to be healthy. How healthy will he be? Who knows? I mean, even if he's a little wobbly, that's not great. But they need him to give everything, especially because they are making AD fucking work with the way that they're kind of dragging him out on every screen and basically just driving right around in the lane with him not there. So I'm nervous, but I think, I think we get a good Austin Reeves game. We get a good D-Lo game. Lakers take care of business. I was pissed that Darvin didn't pull everyone with 8 minutes to go on the floor. Because to your point, LeBron's old. And you, and maybe it's a recency bias, but I don't think I ever watched playoff basketball where the coaches, you would see happen with the Warriors a ton, where the Warriors would just shell teams, and then all of a sudden the team would be third, fourth quarter, pull the starters, let's just cut our losses and hope that we can figure this shit out the next round. And obviously no one has figured it out in the West yet. So I was bummed that Darvin didn't do that.
One thing I want to pick apart from what you were talking on there was Gary Payton. And I feel like nobody's talking about him enough because not only is he playing incredible defense ever since Steve Kerr decided to plug him in that starting lineup, he is efficient as hell in the last 2 games, right? 7 for 9 in game 4, 4 for 5 in game 5, right? Like that is incredible. The low volume, the fact that you're that efficient on that low of a volume, and then you're also playing incredible defense, and you're basically like forcing that Lakers backcourt to not get any shots up. I'm not counting on a D'Angelo Russell masterclass in game 6. I'll tell you that right now. I think D'Lo is going to continue to play the way he's been playing since Gary Payton has been assigned to him. I don't see D'Lo finding a way to score like the way he has been, or the few games he's had where he's been going crazy. Westbrook is better, by the way. You didn't win that trade. But I will say this:
still in the playoffs. So.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys win, we get a ring. I want you to win. I want you to win. I want the Lakers to win. I'll say that right now. I will proudly wear my Lakers Russell Westbrook jersey when I watch these games, and I will proudly buy a Lakers ring with Westbrook's name on it. Don't tell me, Hoop. I know you're about to unmute. Oh, he wasn't on.
That's disgusting.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. If you're going to discredit that ring, go discredit every other ring run like that. I do not care. Guess what? Without Westbrook, they don't get D'Lo.
Have
they don't get
credit
Malik
to
Beasley.
them.
They don't get Vanderbilt. They don't get Beasley. They don't get this new team.
He has a
They
point.
don't get it. They don't get it. And Zach, I think you could agree with me when I say this. Westbrook brought you those pieces, and those pieces brought you to where you are today. And we need some recognition, and we need some respect. So I will proudly accept that ring as a Russell Westbrook
This
fan.
will be
Anyways,
it's a sacrificial lamb ring right there.
another thing I wanted to bring up, and I honestly, this was the last thing I expected from the Lakers, is the reduced role in Jared Vanderbilt. The fact that he went from 20 plus minutes to barely getting double digits in a game, and he gets no shots off, right? Like they don't include him at all in that lineup anymore.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think the pleasant surprise if you're a Lakers fan has been like how well Dennis Schroeder has played against Steph. I mean, I kind of thought he'd get he'd basically get his lunch eaten by Steph. And it's not to say Steph is still giving him 30 most of these nights. It's just to say that Schroeder's been effective enough. I feel bad saying this, but Jared Vanderbilt just has sort of looked like the moment is maybe too big for him at this point in his career. And it's not to say like he can't grow into it or he could have a good night, but he looks nervous out there. Every time down the floor, ball gets to him kind of in the corner, and he looks unsure on the jumper. I thought covered Steph well. I think he still defends Steph best amongst all of the Lakers, but it's that offensive end. I mean, they're basically like daring him to shoot. At least he can play defense, though. I mean, he's less of a fucking negative than Jordan Poole. I mean, Jordan Poole's contract right now looks horrific.
You're not
All
lying.
I heard about was if there's baddies, Jordan Poole's going to hoop. And there's Kim Kardashian sitting courtside, and that man drops a fucking nothing burger for us. Sir.
A goose egg.
Goose egg.
Goose egg, bro. Man,
Hoop, were you
let me
gonna say
just speak on
sorry.
me just speak on Jordan Poole for a split second, just because you brought it up. Man, look, last night before that game started, I was talking to one of my homies, man, and he was like, man, how much you think we're gonna get from JP tonight? He's also a Warrior fan. I'm like, I don't want to see him touch the floor. And I told Hoop the same exact thing. Hoop was like, nah, get him like 2 minutes of burn. Oh, fuck that. Look, man, Dante DiVincenzo, Gary Payton, when they get on the floor, they can knock down shots and they can clamp up the best players on the perimeter for the Lakers in Dennis Schroeder and Austin Reeves is cooking Jordan Poole. Dennis Schroeder's cooking Jordan Poole. Troy Brown's cooking Jordan Poole. Mo Bamba might cook Jordan Poole. It's a damn shame. You literally, you sit there and you watch. Come on, Zach. I know you with me right now.
I
watch Jordan Poole
want
play
Mo Bamba
defense,
minutes.
and
I want more Mo Bamba, keep going.
Give me Mo Bamba minutes. Come on now. Jordan Poole is supposed to be I guess the fourth option scoring wise. It's
Spark plug.
Steph is it spark plug, right?
Highly paid elite spark plug.
Right. Bro is getting paid. What was it? 140
I'm taking
million?
a lead out that sentence. Right now, I'm taking a lead out
No,
that
I'm saying
sentence.
he's supposed
to be.
I think it's when you're getting paid $27 million a year.
Yeah.
Yes,
no.
bro. Look, and it's so bad to the point where I'm asking for a refund and I ain't even get paid. I genuinely want a refund for my time, my vision of watching him go out there and play like what's that Looney Tunes character? the one that spins around, the Tasmanian devil. That's exactly what Jordan Poole is, a Tasmanian devil. It's just annoying. Now, last night Jordan Poole knocked down he pump faked on a 3 and then stepped in for a mid range, popped it. It was wet. I was like, there we go. But it feels like I'm holding Jordan Poole's hand, through the TV when I watch him play basketball. It's insane. It's like having a toddler and you have a toddler in the store and you're like, don't touch anything, and then Jordan Poole just keeps touching shit, and you just want to like stop touching. That's how annoying it is watching Jordan Poole play basketball. And the crazy thing is that when I was watching the Knicks, right, with last year, when I was watching the Knicks, right, Emmanuel Quickley, I used to say Emmanuel Quickley, bro, him and Jordan Poole are the same person, bro. They spam dribble, they like to shoot a lot of threes, like to shoot contested threes. Bro,
you take that back. You take that back.
I'm taking it back.
Emmanuel
I'm completely
Quickley
taking it back.
Is an elite guard defender.
Exactly. Emmanuel Quickley provides something other than offense on the floor. That's why I'm taking that back. Jordan Poole, if he is not scoring, he is doing nothing. He's literally like you might get more out of Ben Simmons than you'll get out of Jordan Poole, because at least the defense is slightly there. But good Lord, bro. Good Lord.
Listen, we could rant about Jordan Poole all day, but I feel like somebody that we're not mentioning, and I do want to transition this into the most overrated media percepted player, in my opinion, that the NBA has ever seen. Klay Thompson has not been playing great this whole series, right? I think we could agree on that. His shooting numbers have been horrendous, and if he's just knocking down half of those shots, this series is in a completely different state, right? I don't know what kind of game 6 y'all are expecting out of Klay Thompson, but I can confidently say it right now. And if he has a great game, come back and point a finger at me and say I was wrong. I'll proudly stand on that, right? But from my perspective, and from, history says Klay Thompson is not this big game 6 guy. And I only want to mention this because I understand if the media drives it, because game 6 Klay, that's a cool name. But Klay Thompson also drives it himself, right? Like you go on a story and you'll be like, that whole thing with the Jay-Z verse when he's like game 6 and he shows himself. He's had a few great game 6s against my Oklahoma City Thunder, right? Yeah. He's had a lot of bad ones too. He averages 20 points on 42%.
Hey, it don't matter though. He's got the 4 rings.
He's got that. Yeah,
remember that.
Before, like he's rocking
it doesn't
with
matter
Lil Baby
if he
after
plays
the game,
well.
Right? No, 100%. I'm not hating on Klay Thompson. I love Klay Thompson. He's a great player.
I'm making a joke.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I don't want this to be perceived as me being a hater. I want this to be perceived as me saying, like, what is this game 6 that people are so scared about every time there's a game 6 the Warriors go into? Because in my opinion, I'm not that scared of Klay Thompson, especially in this series. And just to give you some numbers, 37 minutes, 3 for 12. 41 minutes, 3 for 11. 33 minutes, 5 for 14. That's his last 3 games, right? What game 6 do you think this guy's going to have? And watch me be wrong and him hit the shots. And hopefully, man, I love Klay. Again, I'm not a hater. But this idea that game 6 Klay is going to torch the Lakers or any series he's in, more often than not, he's not going to have a great game. He had that one great game against Oklahoma. That was his legacy game. And he's had a few good ones since. But it's not to the point where it's like, I'm putting him on this pedestal, on this throne. And I'm like, oh, Klay, that's game 6. No. And he pushes that narrative himself. And then he wants to ask, why do people see me as overrated? Why do people hate on my game? It's because of that stuff, if we're being honest, right? If we're showing light on it, it's like you're pushing this narrative that you're about to drop a 40-piece every game and you're not going to. And you're not.
I mean, as the Lakers fan, I still hold my breath when is the barking coming in through the mic?
No worries, don't worry about it.
Nah, he heard what you said about the dog before.
That's Klay outside.
You said F that dog and he started acting up.
No, but to Sainey's point about game 6 Klay, I like what he said about how Klay Thompson and the media both push it. Because I don't know if y'all saw, I reposted something on Instagram today, and it just said that we were due for a game 6 Klay. That's how I feel right now. Because like Sadie said, Klay's been playing like shit this series besides game 2. Besides game 2. So me as a Warrior fan, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, we're due for at least a game 6 Klay. The fact that Steph Curry has been the primary focus of the Los Angeles Lakers defense, excuses kind of his bad, 3-point shooting numbers, especially around the perimeter. They don't want him to shoot, right? They're going to double him. They're going to do whatever.
But here's the thing. I'm not going to excuse it because Klay is also the same guy that's pushing for a max contract. Right, he's not playing up to it, right? There's a difference when a guy who's getting paid 10 to 15 mil is having this woe, because I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's you're paid to do your role. Klay Thompson wants to be paid for a role he's not doing.
Yeah.
See, the thing that I've noticed with Klay Thompson is what makes him Klay Thompson, and I think this is why Warrior fans love him, is because love it or hate it, he's gonna shoot it regardless. and he's a top 4, top 5 shooter ever. So it's like, as a Warrior fan, you're thinking to yourself, eventually, if he sees like 2 go in, we're good. We're in good shape. Last night, I was like, his first 3, I think he hit it. His second 3, I think he overshot it, and it might have like back rimmed it. But I was sitting there thinking to myself, if Klay's hitting, like Sainey just said, if Klay Thompson is hitting at least half of his shots, this is a different series. Which is why I think I'm not as like worried and concerned and terrified that the Warriors go down 3-1, because I'm thinking to myself, a lot of the games have been, besides a couple where it's been blowouts both ways, have just been, shots not falling late in the fourth quarter for the Warriors compared to a shot falling for a Lonnie Walker, a shot falling for a LeBron James or an Anthony Davis, or a late game and 1, things like that. It's situational. With Klay Thompson, I'm thinking to myself, literally, like Sainey said, game 6 Klay is something that gets pushed heavy. In my opinion, the way I'm looking at it, your last 3 games have been dog water. You owe us a game 6, not just us, but your team. Like Steph, imagine the load that's going to be taken off of Steph's shoulders if Klay Thompson is giving you 25 efficiently, not 10 on 13 shots. So, game 6 Klay better show up. That's all I'm saying. Not I'm hoping for it. It better show up. Good Lord.
I mean, when he shoots the ball, I still hold my breath like, oh, fuck, it's going in. Like, the second he leaves his hand, I'm like, oh, fuck it. He's going to get it going. It is very brutal when he's on, because that makes that whole offense so spread out and so impossible to stop. I think he's really struggled at crypto.com arena, especially in this series. So it's been
I love
great.
the .com.
I know, you got to get it in there.
I love the .com.
I will say, because he's been bad in LA, I've cherished it. It's been awesome. Like him being like, I'm shooting in front of my family. Like, next one I'll have it, and then he doesn't have it. And to your point, game 6 Klay, it is a real thing. But like, man, I hope it just doesn't show up this game and the Lakers fucking beat the shit out of the Warriors.
But the only reason I'm addressing it and I'm like putting so much like light on it is because if you want to be paid superstar money, if you want to be seen as a top dog, like, you got to deal with that repercussion. And that's the only reason I address it, because it's like, if he wants that money that he's like chasing after in the offseason, I think this is the offseason he chases it, right? It's
no,
like,
I think he have a 24? Is it a player option or is it a
I'm
team
not
option?
sure.
I thought Draymond had
whatever
a
it is,
player
I know
option.
he's talking about extending his contract. I know that talk has been around, and it's like, what are you proving to show that that conversation should happen?
I mean, Draymond, the wild thing with this is, it's like, is Draymond playing hard to help the Warriors win another ring? Yeah, of course. He's playing really hard because he knows that, like, I don't think the Atlanta Hawks have the money. They could sure use someone like Draymond. But someone is watching this and is like, I'm going to give Draymond 4 years with a shitload of money. He's old, yeah, but like, if he can help be the backbone of this team, it's worth the bag. Klay, he'll obviously knock down threes for you. His defense is not quite there. I mean, I'll tell you this story. So when I was at ASU, I worked for the men's basketball team. We were playing Washington State. They had this guy, Klay Thompson, on the team. And I remember going into the game. I don't think he was suspended. I don't think it was like the weed thing, because that came later that year where they found weed in his car and he got suspended for a game, which is just so lame and so dumb. But anyway, he was benched for like the first 10 minutes of the first half, something like that. And in our prep, our coaches were like, you don't let him get going. You don't let him get going. Our whole scout, Klay Thompson. And I remember turning to one of the assistants and being like, bro, this guy isn't even going to play for the first 10 minutes. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, why are we scouting this? He came in and he gave us and I think we were up like 15 when he checked into the game, maybe 20. He drops 28, and it is a 1-point game that ASU barely wins. I mean, he swung it, 2-point game. It was a 2-point game, and he swung it so goddamn fast. And I remember in that exact moment being like, oh, that's an NBA player. And not just an NBA player, but that is a very good NBA player. And, you see him have this innate ability to just be like, all right, the next one's going to go in. And then once that one goes in, a million follow. And so as a Laker fan or whatever, like, you are sort of sitting here like, they're going to come. And you just hope to get out of game 6 with it not happening. And he's going to hit him. So if it's game 7 when those are coming and there's no game 7, thank the goddamn Lord we're out of here. So that's where I'm at with it.
And like the best trait a shooter can have is like when they have a missed shot, they don't let it affect them, right? So I will credit Klay Thompson for that. Again, I'm not hating on Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
I'm just addressing the fact that it's like, listen, your past shows you should get paid that much. What's your present saying though, right? Like, what are you presently showing for that money?
Yeah. I think if you're the Warriors, like, you obviously kind of had to pay Jordan Poole, but like in this whole playoff series, you're looking at what Jordan Poole's giving you, and you're looking at what Draymond Green's threes in there is a game 6, right? Like, we can agree on that. Draymond Green gives him 20. Those are huge buckets. When he shot almost all those shots, I was like, no, that ain't going a swish. And you're like, and he's been, dude, you want to know who runs that little maneuver they're doing at the top where they're bringing Anthony Davis out on the pick? Who's been running that shit to perfection is Draymond. It's not Jordan Poole, and they got all this money tied up with Poole now. And the reality is, like, Draymond is a very loyal guy, but there is, like, it is generational money that someone's going to hand to him to go play for 4 years. That he isn't going to take a 90% discount to stay with the Warriors. So, I mean, maybe they trade Poole in the offseason, but who knows?
Who knows?
For Jaylen Brown and Malcolm Brogdon, apparently.
If you're the Celtics, that is the dumbest trade. Like, you already have Tatum who, like, goes on these spells where, like, he just forgets that he's the best player on the floor. And, you know, it's like, what are we doing? So, Poole there would be hilarious.
Hoop, you've been quiet lately. I want to hear something out of you.
Well, we could get into the one player we have not slandered from this series in Stephen Curry, right? He's been great, but it was game 4 when he brought the Warriors back into the game where narrative circled that Steph Curry is not clutch. He's never been clutch. The ESPN stat showed up that he was 0 for 12 on
Hey, don't
game.
put this
Hold up.
out there before the Lakers have to go play.
Hold up. So, right, Steph Curry is 0 for 12 on shots in the playoffs with like less than 45 seconds to take the lead. I believe the ESPN stat was. I went through a couple of these because I'm posting a TikTok on these today. And I rewatched the Lakers, the 2 missed shots. And I first want to say that it's partly due to the play they ran, why it looked so bad. He had Dennis Schroeder on him, and you could tell me if he was playing elite defense on him, but I'd rather have that matchup than switching over first to LeBron on the first screen and then to Anthony Davis. Steph Curry has already made Kevin Love look like prime Hakeem when he needs to create separation on the perimeter. Anthony Davis, the same exact effect. The first shot was, they were trying to go for a 2-for-1. He ran most of the shot clock, took a midi off 1 foot, which rimmed out. Draymond grabbed the rebound, who was actually right there for a layup if he had not looked to pass out, but regardless, Draymond passed out. And then, still with a ton of time on the shot clock, at least 10 seconds, did that little 2-dribble step back 3. Got it over Davis's hand, but nowhere near the bottom of the basket. So what I want to say to you guys is, first off, I think Steph Curry is clutch, so I'm not trying to push this narrative. But there's a difference between someone being clutch and having someone take the last second shot to win you a game, which is why I want to play this game with you guys. I have a bunch of different current NBA players on the list. I want to ask you guys, who would you rather take this last second shot, Steph Curry or this player? Can we do this?
This is a great game.
Let's do it.
This is a great. All right, so let's do Sainey, Zach first. He's our guest. Zach,
right.
Sainey, Z. All right. Steph Curry or LeBron James?
LeBron James.
Am I down by 3 or am I down by 2? Like, what's the situation?
I guess I have to make a situation. We are down 1.
LeBron.
Because a lot of those Steph situations where he's missed shots, but down 1. Let's say we're down 1. Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
Did you think about that?
Yeah.
Kevin Durant.
Damian Lillard.
Dame. Again.
Dame.
Kyrie Irving.
Steph.
What? Kyrie.
Luka Doncic.
Steph.
What? Luka.
Devin Booker.
Steph.
we're talking right now. We're talking about the guy that's like averaging 65% from the field on 36 points a game, and we're saying Steph Curry in the clutch.
Yeah.
Devin Booker.
With such recency bias.
I need a shot in a recent situation.
Z is lagged out bad right now for our viewers. He said Booker over Steph. What a Warriors fan. De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox.
Fox, the clutchest player in the league.
Yeah.
Are we still letting Z answer these? He's like hearing this 10 seconds after.
Yeah.
It'll be fine for the clip, but just for the viewers, sorry. He's lagging behind. He's outside in his recording session right now. Nature Z. How about Jalen Brunson?
Steph.
I'll take Steph. That's where I draw the line.
I take Jalen Brunson. Y'all say Fox, say Brunson. How about Trae Young?
As someone who peddled the Trae could be better than Steph narrative for so long, I feel like I've maybe hit my wall this year with it. Trae.
I don't know about
I'll take
that
Steph.
one, man. Ooh. Jason Tatum.
One of them hit a playoff shot in the Garden.
Hey, that is true. That is true.
I don't think it was Steph.
A Garden. A Garden. You're talking about the Boston one this year, right?
No, but didn't he send? Trae sent the
Yeah,
Knicks
after shooting 4 for 20. He was not efficient that series.
We're asking last shot of the game, not efficiency. It's just to end the game.
Fine.
Go
How
ahead, sorry.
about
Next one?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
I swear, don't even think about it.
Steph.
What?
He's not close.
What?
Sainey.
Bro, give me Shea any day of the week in any situation, bro. What?
Hi.
It's Steph
I'm not even
Curry
saying that as a Thunder fan. I'm not
it's
saying
Steph
that as a
Curry,
Thunder fan.
man.
Yes, you are saying that as a
You're
Thunder
taking
fan.
Steph Curry over Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying I
just-
am. I'm saying, like, the way you're reacting to it is a
No,
little
I understand
obscene.
it's Steph, yes, but we're talking about like you're bringing up like the clutchest players in the league. Honestly, I'm changing to Jalen Brunson. I just realized I'm changing to Jalen Brunson.
Should I even get into the big man like Nikola Jokic?
I'd take Jokic. Or Steph.
In the clutch? Ooh, yeah, I'll take Jokic because Jokic will throw up the most random, ugly floater and it'll work.
What about Embiid? Like, we're getting to a lot of people here.
Steph.
Compared to Steph's, like, talent level in the league, this is a lot of people.
I also think it's very difficult. Like, I don't think the Warriors have necessarily done Steph favors in the way that they ask him to get their last second bucket. Like, it's so obvious the look is going to him for all of these. I mean, I guess with Dame it is too, but he still hits them. So I don't know what I'm talking about. Never mind.
No,
keep
they
going.
do the same thing with Luka this year. They put him in awful situations, like 30, 40 feet from the basket to make something happen.
What? It was Embiid, right? That was the player you brought up?
Yeah.
I'm taking Embiid.
We should move on because I could get
Did
nasty, but we're not going
Iguodala
to.
on the list?
Iguodala.
No, I'm joking. That's that fucking stupid Max. What's his name? Clip. I'm taking Iguodala. The dumbest shit. All right, sorry about that, guys.
That's completely fine. Sainey, I still have beef with you.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is
no,
why
and
I
I want
was-
Zach. You know, Z lagged out, and I know he's still with us right now, but like Riverside just stopped recording him. So Zach, I need you to be a moderator here for a second, because me and Hoop are debating this, and you heard about it slightly.
How about this? We'll argue. He gives the final word.
Okay, and
He
Zach,
hears both
chime in
sides.
whenever you like.
Also, be
Okay.
as objective as possible.
And I'm
Because
picking a winner in this argument.
yes, absolutely.
Yes, okay.
Hoop, you're next
No,
guy.
you're the one who brought it up.
Oh, you want me to bring it? Okay,
Oh,
I'll
this is
gladly. I
serious.
will gladly talk about your Knicks. I will gladly. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about that series because Miami Heat are winning in 6. I don't care about the Knicks. I don't care about New York. Okay, no, I'm just being a hater at this point. But I'm playing. Quinn Grimes had a little bit of an injury because he bumped into Bam, I believe it was, in like the last minute of the game. And the man played 48 minutes of basketball because he's being coached by Tom Thibodeau. And I blame Grimes getting injured on Thibs, because why is Quentin Grimes playing 48 minutes? Now, yes, he's playing great basketball, and I agree he should have been on the court as the Jimmy Butler stopper. He does a great job defensively on Jimmy Butler, 100%. But Jimmy Butler played 43 minutes. What was Grimes doing on the court for those extra 5? You have a guy like Josh Hart to switch him in with, because even though Josh Hart hasn't been playing great, he still plays the same role as Quentin Grimes, and I'd rather give Quentin a little bit of a break, especially when you're playing a Miami Heat team, and at one point you were up by like 17, and yes, I understand the Heat came back, right? But there's points during the game where players should have seen a break, and they didn't. And this is the Tom Thibodeau thing. This is a very, very Tom Thibodeau thing to do, and this is why during that little voting session that players had, anonymously, 43% of players, I believe it was, chose to not be coached by Tom Thibodeau. They said that's the last coach they would play for, and this is the reason why. Quentin Grimes is out there running for 48 minutes for no reason at all. If Jimmy Butler is getting a break, Quentin Grimes should be getting a break as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of flaws in your argument. You're saying the reason for Quentin Grimes being hurt the blame should be placed on Tom Thibodeau.
Why is he in
for
that
him getting
situation?
hurt.
Yeah, why is he in that situation?
Because it's a must-win playoff game where he is playing.
But the risk of injury goes up when you're playing 48 minutes a game. The risk of you getting injured goes up when you're playing 48 minutes a game.
Okay, let me talk. If you watch the play back, I'm not gonna say it was an illegal screen. Like people on Nick's Twitter say that Bam sets illegal screens all the time. Point of the he got hit on the screen, which can happen in any point of the game. The reason why he was in is because Josh Hart in the first quarter picked up 3 quick fouls. He shot 1 for 2 from the game on 8 minutes, and then sat for the entire second quarter. The second he came back in the game, he got his 4th foul and sat for the rest. Emmanuel Quickly, who a lot of times will fill in at the 2 spot sometimes, McBride wasn't playing because he's a deep bench guy. They had Brunson running all 48, which is another thing you didn't mention, because of course it's a good thing to run Brunson all 48. I think you would agree, because he was the engine of that team. He had a 38-point near triple-double. And if they took him out, they were at risk of losing. I think they were at risk of losing if Quentin Grimes was out of the game, and him being injured is a basketball play. He also got up and stripped Jimmy Butler the second he went down, which was a heroic play. But point of the matter is, you're not going to say that Jalen Brunson being ran to the ground, because you said he was doing a lot of the scoring load, and he's not running around chasing Jimmy on defense. I could say the same thing with Quentin Grimes not having that scoring load. He's sitting in the corner as a corner shooter. That's not this two-way.
But defensively, he has this assignment of guarding
he
what
does.
could be the best player in the world
has
right
the
now.
assignment to score a lot of the points.
100%. And I believe Jalen Brunson should have seen the bench for at least a minute or two.
You know what was Tom Thibodeau's fault? Leaving Julius Randle out to dry when the Knicks were down by 30 in Cleveland when he went up for a dunk and Jarrett Allen went for the chase down and almost tore his leg off. That's Tom Thibodeau's fault.
But here's the thing. Win or lose, Thibs is known for doing this to players, and he has a history of keeping players on the court, right? And that's why he has a history of key players getting injured, because he puts them in situations where they're volatile, I think is the word I'm looking for, to grab these injuries, right? Where it's like, why are you running your players to the ground? Yeah, this will work in Game 5, right? What's going to happen
because
in Game 6?
They won the game.
Can I see the same thing in Game 6? Yes, Josh Hart picked up quick fouls, but does that mean you only limit him to 9 minutes a game? Still throw him in. It's fine if a player gets fouled out. They don't get suspended if they get fouled out. So it's fine to still play that player. Why are you only playing him 1 extra minute?
I think
also, Josh Hart and Quentin Grimes, by the way, have different roles.
But defensively, the main role for Quentin Grimes right now is to defensively be Jimmy Butler's guy.
No,
when Josh Hart's on,
because
his main defensive matchup is Jimmy Butler, right? What's their main priority? Lock up Jimmy Butler,
Hart play,
right?
I'm still trying to get around the fact that it was a very close game, and you're saying this is Thibodeau's fault. This is not
I think Thibodeau has a history.
With that.
Thibodeau has a history of running players to the ground, win or lose, blowout or close game. He has a history of keeping his guys on, and he shouldn't. This is why players don't want to play for Thibodeau. So yes, and if we see Jalen Brunson not playing at his peak level, or Quentin Grimes having a little bit of a slouch, I'm going to put that on Thibodeau, because you're not giving your guys the chance to recover. You're not.
I mean, unfortunately, you make great cases, but Thibodeau just destroys people's muscle tissue. That's just how it goes. you play for him and your value goes down as far as a trade asset goes, or you get hurt. I mean, it's really, really fucking hard to play for him. And especially in like this modern NBA, there's like a reason that Tom Thibodeau is like on an island as far as how he runs these guys. And I think, like to Sainey's point, like if you look at guys that have played for him in the past, not just being like he may be healthy, they may be healthy sometimes during his tenure, sometimes not. A lot of the guys that play for him burn tread off of their tires in a way that their careers are shortened immeasurably. Like if you go look at so many of the guys that came from those Bulls teams that had deep runs, he fucking cooked those guys. And maybe if they got through, like, you know, Derrick, not all of them look like Derrick Rose, but like there are a lot of guys whose knees, you know, are basically full of drywall right now because of Tom Thibodeau.
And again, like Hoop, it worked out this game. Congratulations, you guys won, right? Like I understand it's a close game, but to your point, like you said, he did it the same thing to Julius Randle when they're down like 20. This wasn't a one-time thing by Thibodeau where it was just only a one-time.
That is not the same thing. Julius Randle, you're putting in a situation where the only thing he could do is hurt himself. He's not going to win the game. He's not going to magically get better. Quentin Grimes has a situation where he can win the game.
He didn't let me finish the point. My point is, this wasn't a decision by Tom Thibodeau where it's like, oh, I'm only going to do this now because it's a must-win situation. This is just a normal Tom Thibodeau thing to do. So this stuff is bound to happen. When you're constantly reoccurring this decision, the probability of your players going down will rise. This wasn't only a one-time thing where Thibodeau plays his players many minutes. And that's why I put the blame on him. Because this isn't a one-time thing. This is a multiple occurrence. So yes, it worked out for you when you won the game, but Tom Thibodeau is known to do this, which is why I put the blame on him. Because when you're known to do something consistently, the probability of the con will go up. If I want to do something and I know there's a con, if I only do it once and I get away with it, okay, fine. But when I constantly do that thing, guess what? I'm probably going to get the short end of the stick at some point. I probably will. And that's why I put the blame on Tom Thibodeau, because it's as if he's chasing that short end of the stick. It's as if he's chasing his players going down to the ground. That's what he's looking to do.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at Grimes, like in game 1, he played 10 minutes, game 2, 25, game 3, 21, the last game was 40, then he plays 48. Like, it's not like he's trying to kill someone on the court.
Right, but knowing Thibs, he's going to continuously give him those minutes.
And if he does, I'll say you're right. But as for now, I think...
history says, and if he doesn't, it's probably because Grimes is dealing something with his thigh now, or whatever it is, hamstring. I don't know what it was that the guy hit. But I guarantee you right now, Grimes is not having a great time with his leg. He's not. And he's not going to be fully 100% for Game 6.
I just don't want to blame like all injuries on the coaches who put them on the floor. Because at the end of the day, your job is to play basketball.
But Thibodeau is a special case because Thibodeau is known to do this. There's a reason why you trade for depth. There's a reason why you have depth on the team. It's to play them.
And the depth is hurt. I told you, the depth is hurt or horrible.
Okay.
So should he play him for 36, have Hart out for the 12, have him foul out, and then that's the game?
If Hart fouls out and there's injured guys, that's a different story. But Hart still had 2 fouls in his pocket. Hart still had 2 fouls in his pocket.
Grimes was playing significantly better than Grimes.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem, though. Yes, these last few games. Well, hold on. The last few games, the minutes are just brutal, and it's like you have to look at it beyond just the last few games and like pre-playoffs. So we'll start here against Orlando. 38 minutes, 37 minutes. These are to end the season. 36, 35, 41, 43, 32, 31. Great, that's fine. Then we start to ratchet this up.
Who are you looking at?
I've been looking at Quentin Grimes' minutes. These are to end the season.
No, because I'm on the same exact page.
But you're looking at playoffs.
I was looking at end of regular season. End of regular season.
This is just a recurring thing.
But then you get into the playoffs, and it's 26, 21, 13. That's great. Did not dress. And then he starts working back, 25, 21, and then you go 41 and 48. And what happens when you get to 48? The issue is he just redlines the engine with guys. Like, he's always done this, and it's an unfortunate thing because he can squeeze so much greatness out of a team. But the problem is, it's like that the friend of yours that plays FIFA holding down the turbo, like holding down sprint the whole game. You get to the 80th minute, and now all of a sudden you bring on a super sub, and your friend's getting fucking baked back there because they got nothing left. And it's not to say that this Knicks team has nothing left. It's just to say people's muscle tissue explodes when they have to try to play through these things.
Yeah, I'll if he plays more than 45 minutes in Miami the next game, I'll give it to you. But
Thing is, I don't think he physically can. I think Thibodeau's going to push him to his physical capability. Like, I do not think Grimes, especially the way he was slouching right after that steal, the pain in his face. Like, I mean, I think he'll be available. Hopefully he is, because I love Quinn Grimes, and I'm not, again, but I'm just saying the only reason I put the blame on Thibs is this is not a one-time situation. This is a recurring thing that he does constantly. So that's why I have to call him out for it. Because, again, whatever risk you take, the more you go for that risk, the more of a chance you're going to get the short end of the stick, which is why I put the blame on Thibs.
yeah, I just think they lose the game if he doesn't play at 48. But we're going in circles here.
End of the story. 43% of players don't want to play for Tom Thibodeau.
I would not want to play for that man.
Yeah,
No, but that settles the argument.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I
it
mean?
doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it literally does. It literally does.
You
What are
just said you don't want to play for him.
I don't
because
want to play
he's-
for him, but if I ran into a screen at the end of a ball game because my backup was awful, then I'm not gonna because I got hurt.
It's not Thibs' fault that he ran into the screen. It's Thibs' fault that he was in that situation, because when you play that many minutes, you're bound to be put in a situation like that. That's my point.
It's like this. If you're redlining the engine of a car and the car's about to overheat, and then you go to pass one more car and the car explodes. Yeah, I mean, like, you went to pass with the one last car, but it was like
Why did the car
like
explode?
6
There was 47 minutes of the car driving.
Yeah.
Like the 47-minute, like, of course, right? Like, you're bound to have some sort of error come up. It's the same thing. We've seen it.
I'm putting the
multiple
blame
times.
on Bam. Move on.
Hoop, are you a soccer fan?
No.
That's in a sport that's super interesting to watch because of how much running the guys do, that they get a lot of like muscle injuries and shit that comes up. And it's very interesting seeing the way that they have to like sit and rest guys. I know Sainey's a Liverpool fan, so my Liverpool's coach is this bad habit similar to Thibs of like redlining guys, but to handle that, he has a good training staff that's basically like, you fucking can't play this guy tonight. You cannot play this guy.
They literally sit out games.
Yeah,
They
the way their
sit out
heart rate
games.
monitors are showing this data, you can't do it. And I'm not saying Thibs is like, I'm sure he has similar people in the building, but
He's not listening.
Someone on that staff has to be like, bro,
He's
it's
not listening.
48 minutes. I mean, the other part is like Josh Hart. If someone should be blamed, blame Josh Hart. Like, what are you doing getting fouls, making your guy play 48 minutes? Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No, like, to your
point.
credit, the backups were trash. Yes, to your credit.
You're
But
right.
at the same time, you have 2 fouls in your hand to give out still. So get them on, like, do something, right? Even if it's to go on and give out trash foul and then he's fouled out, whatever, right? If it's go foul and slow down the game. Because Miami the Knicks were up by 17 and Miami goes on this crazy run, right? Okay, use Josh Hart to go slow down the game. Go foul somebody quick, stop the momentum. Because Miami went on an insane run, right? We could agree on that. Like, the Knicks had a 17-point lead and they did not win by 9. That was garbage time shot. It was a 2-point game within like 3 minutes left of the fourth, right? That was a close game and it should not have been a close game. The position the Knicks were in the second quarter. Maybe the third. I can't remember exactly when they had that 17-point lead, right? So it's like, what? Like, there were ways to avoid Quentin Grimes playing 48 minutes. That's all I'm going to say. Even Jalen Brunson too. But that's a different story. I mean, I understand you have to work with the cards you're dealt. I mean, we're kind of we're nearing the end of this episode, so this is probably a great way to end it. Hoop's starting to realize that Game 6, his guys might not be as energized now. But
Hey, Emmanuel Quickly has been sitting down for a couple days. We'll be just fine.
hopefully. Anyway, we appreciate Zach for coming on again. Once again, this was a great episode. Always great to have you on. Hopefully we can have you on again in the future.
Please, let me know.
And this was a great way to wrap up the show. We'll see you guys on episode 73. Peace.